Hello everyone and welcome back to Derek's Gaming. Well, we finally made it. We've cleared all of the main galaxies and now it's time to confront the final boss of Astro Bot. Yep, it's time to go up against Space Bully Nebulax. And while this final encounter does have some unique quirks to it, overall it's really not that difficult when you compare it to some of the other boss encounters in the game. And we've added timestamps in the video description if you want to jump ahead to the start of the fight, otherwise enjoy the cinematic. Okay, first up we're going to do PlaySquadron Go, and this is a fun little space shooter where we can also collect 4 puzzle pieces. And here we will be battling Space Bully Nebulax's army in space with the help of the bots that we've rescued throughout the game and our space fleet made up of various PlayStation consoles. Pretty cool. And we just grabbed the first puzzle piece. It was attached to one of those aliens that we just blew out of the sky. And here is the first appearance of Space Bully Nebulax in this stage, guarded by a giant shield, which we can easily destroy with the help of the original PlayStation manned by a bunch of our bot friends. Yep, we just have to aim for that red target in the middle of his spaceship and avoid his laser beams that he's shooting at us. Okay, this is fun. Now we get to blast our way through this asteroid field. Okay, now there's a giant wave of asteroids that we need to clear out, and there is one asteroid in the back that's glowing, and that one has a puzzle piece inside of it. Okay, now we just need to dodge these lasers on this rolling satellite by moving left and right, and continually fire at it as we're moving around to destroy it. Okay, now the PS2 has joined us in this battle. And here comes puzzle piece number 3. Just blast away these enemies to get it. And now it's time to bring out the big guns, starting with the PlayStation 3. And don't get smushed by this pixelated bell, we can just do a spin attack to take care of it. And now this is really starting to look a lot like a PlayStation commercial. Look at that, we've got light guns, a controller, a PSP, wow. You know, we have to admit, this is a lot of fun. If they made an Astro Bot game that was just a space shooter like this, I'm sure we'd play it. Okay, this thing looks pretty formidable. We better bring in every PlayStation device we have in our arsenal to take it down. Okay, and we'll find puzzle piece number 4 just up ahead inside of this tunnel. And we've made it. What an intense fight, and boy, that was a lot of fun. And now, after all of that intensity, it's time for us to face off against Space Bully Nebulax, the final boss. And maybe we'll just take him out with our fleet of PlayStation devices. Nope, of course not. We're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Okay, so this fight has 3 stages to it, and as you'll see, it's pretty dynamic. So obviously in this guide, we're only going to be able to cover the events that happen in this particular instance of the fight. But maybe in a future video, we'll guide you through all of the events that can occur in this encounter. Okay, so here's how the fight works. Space Bully Nebulax will spin this wheel, and depending on where it lands, something different will happen. And to stop the wheel, we just toss a light bulb at it. Okay, unfortunately, it landed on Skull, and Skull does not progress the fight. Instead, it just spawns a bunch of enemies that we have to take care of. Once we clear them out, we can spin the wheel again. Okay, so this time it landed on Monkey. Okay, so this one's pretty straightforward. Just run around, do not get shot, grab the cannonballs that fall on the ground, and throw them back at Space Bully Nebulax. And once we've hit him enough time to shatter his visor, run up and punch his fingers until he moves them out of the way so you can destroy the first lock. Okay, it's time to spin that wheel again. Where will it land? Alright, it's our favorite. It's Frog Gloves time. And again, this is another simple mechanic. Avoid the shockwaves on the ground, and when you have a chance, go punch the hammer with your frog gloves. Okay, we'll do the same thing again, and this time we'll punch the other side of the hammer. Okay, now let's try to rip the hammer out of his hands. Nope, not yet. One more round of shockwaves to avoid, and then we'll try and grab that hammer again. There we go. Now we just swing it around and bonk him in the head. And once again, we can run up and smash his fingers and break the lock. Okay, now it's time for hopefully the third and final wheel spin. Nope, unfortunately, it's another skull. We have to clear out the enemies and spin again. Okay, we landed on the Octo Balloon. And fortunately, this one's very straightforward too. A series of laser gates are going to come towards us. We just need to float up and down to avoid them. and then a squid will fly out of his gun, go over, and blow up the squid. And now we can just run up and break the third and final lock. So that's it, we've air quotes defeated Space Bully Nebulax and got the final piece of our PlayStation 5, the CPU. And now that we've finished putting our PS5 back together, it's time for a robot dance party, and nothing could possibly interrupt this, right? Oh wait, he's back. The fight isn't quite over yet. Okay, I think it's time to bust out this supercharged PS5 controller and put away Space Bully Nebulax once and for all. So this part's not too tough, we just have to shoot everything that he's throwing at us. And boy does he throw a lot of stuff at us, everything but the kitchen sink. And then after he's done throwing all of his garbage at us, just shoot in the middle of his flying saucer. And with that, we've defeated him for real this time. That is the end of the fight. So that does bring us to the end of the guide for the final boss fight of Astro Bot, Space Bully Nebulax. We hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching, and if you want to stick around, we've included the ending cutscene and the closing credits scene as well in this video if you're interested in seeing them. And we highly recommend it if you haven't seen them, they're both awesome.